tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Yoche vassa satanjive apasso dhamma muttaman ekahang jivetang seyo passato dhamma muttamanti. Happy New Year for everyone. Venerable Sirs, friends in the Dhamma, nuns, bhikkhunis. Now we have come to our final session of the retreat, the final day. Here I hope to conclude all the teachings, all the doctrines that we have already heard and practiced. Here you can have a short summary about the things that we have already listened to last few days. At the beginning of the session we discussed that entire Buddhism is the path of happiness. Buddhism leads to gain real happiness. For happiness, we have to purify our mind to the maximum level. Whenever we are happy, our mind is pure and calm. Whenever our mind is pure and calm, happiness follows us. Happiness completely depends on purification of one's mind. That is why Buddhism always explains that sacitta paryodapanam. One of the advice of the Buddha is that purifying one's mind. Purification of our mind, we start practicing generosity. Generosity is the very start point of our happiness. He who practices generosity gains a lot of happiness. He who has a generous heart receives a lot of happiness. That is the main thing. Therefore, always we try to practice some kind of generosities in our lives. That is very important. When we have practiced generosity, we meet good friends, noble association, spiritual friendship. That is very important. The more we practice generosity honestly and righteously and correctly, the more better people we meet. That is very important. When we meet good friends, we share Dhamma with them. When we practice Dhamma, always, every day is a new year. Every day is the 1st of January. Every day is a birthday. Every day we spend happily. Therefore, as a person who practices Dhamma has not only one day for 1 year as a new year. All the days that he wake up in the morning is 1st of January for birthday. For that we have to purify our mind again and again in our all activities from the morning to night. In our all postures, standing, sitting, walking, lying down, in these 4 postures we have to practice Dhamma. Not only that, when we speak something, when we do something, when we think something, in these 3 doors, our speech, behavior and mind, through these 3 places we practice Dhamma. We should practice Dhamma, then we can see the results. Not only that, when we listen to Dhamma, there are also a place where we practice Dhamma. When we discuss, there also we practice Dhamma. When we practice meditation, there also we practice Dhamma. Not only that, when we chant the discourses uttered by the Buddha, that is also a place where we practice Dhamma. Finally, when we keep our every step, when we walk, we are with the Dhamma. Not only that, in every breath, in and out, we are with the Dhamma. Then we can see the results. If not, we can see the visible results and immediately effectiveness in the Dhamma. Dhamma has some qualities. Dhamma is very expounded by the Blessed One. Svakato Bhagavata Dhammo. Sanditiko, visible results. Akaliko, immediately effective. Epasiko, calling one to come and see. Opanaiko, leading onwards. And Pachattang Vedithabbo Vinyohi, it should be personally realized by the wise. These are the qualities of the Dhamma. If you want to see these qualities, we have to practice Dhamma always, everywhere, every moment, like when we breathe in and out. We start our spiritual journey, as I mentioned earlier, by practicing generosity. Not only giving materials, but we can help others physically. And also we can give some lives, we can save lives, giving fearlessness, abhedana. Not only that, when we go to the higher level in the Dhamma, we not only share something physically or materially, but we share Dhamma with others. The gift of Dhamma excels all other gifts. Sampadanan Dhammadanan Jinati. When you go forward in practicing Dhamma, you always share Dhamma with your close relatives and friends who are ready to listen to what you say. That is also very important. And also, with the association of good friends, we understand the nature of our life, the nature of the sansaric journey. The very first knowledge that we receive through listening to Dhamma of good friendship, we understand the nature of the sansaric circle. How we succeed our sansaric life, where we purify our mind. Manasache pasannena bhasativa karotiva. He who does something with the pure mind, physically, verbally or mentally, happiness follows him because of pure mind. With this understanding, we always practice good deeds, dana, sila and bhavana. Generosity, virtue or discipline, and bhavana, meditation, mental culture. These three things we always practice for our inner peace, spiritual happiness. There we meet after generosity, we come to virtue or 5 precepts. Discipline in our speech and behavior. That is very important. Practicing 5 precepts is the foundation of our spiritual life, our holy life, our happy life. What are the 5 precepts? Abstaining from taking life, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from foul speech, and abstaining from intoxicating drinks and drugs causing heedlessness. He who practices these 5 things, he spends a very peaceful life without problems in this society. He can succeed in his family life. He can succeed his career life. He can succeed educational life. And finally, it helps him or her to resolve the spiritual life too. That is very important. In our day-to-day life, we always try to follow these 5 human values, human qualities. These 5 things don't belong to any particular religion. These 5 things belong to person who is seeking inner peace, happiness, successful life, or peaceful life. Not only we practice generosity, we mentioned that we reflect on our generosity again and again. While we are practicing generosity, we think about our generous life. I am such a person who always practice generosity. We practice our generosity as a meditation technique. Always we can practice generosity. Very few time per day we have to practice generosity. But more time we think it, what we do, what we did. When we have a lesser time, we immediately come to a very calm place, peaceful place, and we keep our attention in the present moment, being aware of our mind, and we think about my generosity. I have a person who always practices generosity. I have donated these kind of things to other people. When we think our generosity, we purify our mind, we can gain concentration through contemplating on our generosity. That is also very important. On the other side, not only we practice virtue or panchasila, but when we are in a rest, we always contemplate on our sila or virtue. I am a person who always practices generosity. Not only generosity, I always practice 5 precepts. We think again and again as a meditation technique. By contemplating on our virtue or panchasila, we can purify our mind from negative thoughts. We keep our attention in the present moment. By purifying our mind, we develop our inner peace. And also the third meritorious act that we can practice in the mundane level, worldly level, is that bhavana, or especially metta bhavana. As we mentioned earlier several times, practicing metta bhavana or loving kindness meditation is the highest meritorious act in the mundane level. It helps us to develop our life, this life, our spiritual life too. And also it helps us to develop our spirituality. And also practicing metta bhavana helps us to reduce some negative results of our previous negative karmas. That is the highest benefit that we receive through practicing metta bhavana. And also especially we can overcome anger through practicing loving kindness meditation. That is why Buddhism says, he who wishes to attain the peace of mind should practice loving kindness meditation. Iyantan santam padang abhisamecha sabbe satta bhavantu sukitatta. You can check whether you are peaceful. You can check how much you develop your spiritual happiness. What is the place where you can check it? The duration of practicing metta bhavana. How long you practice metta bhavana for a day? That is the one of the places that you can check whether you are on the path of peace. And also, when you develop your metta thoughts, you don't criticize other people. You always look at others. What is doing him? What is hearing me? Always we focus on outside world. It means we have less peace. When we are going to peaceful mind, we always look at me. What happens to my mind at the moment? When I see something, when I hear something, when I smell something, what happens to my mind? This is the place where we can check whether I am in the spiritual path. That is very important. Ordinary people always look at outside. They want to check others. But we who know the Dhamma, we want to search ourselves. What happens to my mind at the moment? Whether I am peaceful or not. We are always aware of our own mind. What happens to my mind at the moment? That is very important. Especially here, we practice Metta Bhavana. As the result of practicing Metta Bhavana, as soon as we remember a person, as soon as we meet a person, as soon as we hear a sound of a person, we think that person is like my only son or daughter. When we think again and again, may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. We think that all people in the world like my family. Then always I am friendly with them. I am ready to help them. And also when other people are suffering, we are ready to help them as we can. This is the way that we can check how we go forward in our spiritual life. Having this understanding, we develop our mind little by little. First, we start our spiritual life practicing generosity. Through practicing sila or virtue, gradually we come to bhavana or meditation. Even though we are in the mundane level of our practice, we always keep our mind in the peaceful situation. There we always practice samatha bhavana, the concentration meditation. In this level, we highly practice metta bhavana, and also we practice other 6 meditation techniques always for inner peace. What they are? We already discussed everything, okay? In this session, we don't discuss any new thing. All the things that we have already here we are discussing, we are talking. We have to practice 6 things in our day-to-day life for our inner peace, especially to concentrate our mind. One of them is metta bhavana. We already discussed it. We have other 6 things. The very first one, Buddha Hanusati, the contemplation of the qualities of the Buddha. When we meditate, we always think about the qualities of the Buddha. He is the person who developed his mind to the maximum level with great compassion and wisdom. The contemplation of the Buddha is one of the meditation techniques that we always practice to purify our mind from negative thoughts. Buddha Hanusati. The second thing is Dhamma Hanusati, the contemplation of the qualities of the Dhamma explained by the Buddha. Dhamma explains us how we go forward in this spiritual life and the qualities of the Dhamma. Especially when we practice Dhamma, we can see the results in this immediate life, and also we can see the results visibly. We think again and again. And also the third meditation technique that we practice in our day-to-day life is that Sangha Hanusati, the qualities of the Sangha, nuns and monks. They are the people who are learning Dhamma, who are practicing Dhamma, who are protecting Dhamma, who are purifying their minds and who have already purified completely their minds from negative thoughts. They are the monks, nuns, in short Sangha. When we think about Sangha, especially noble Sangha means who has already come to some spiritual levels, they never go back. They never lose their qualities. They are in a particular level or gradually they develop their qualities. These 3 things, the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, when we think our mind is so pure and calm. In our day-to-day life, we have relatives and friends. Sometimes we are happy with them. When they are very good, we are happy. When they are not good, we are unhappy. We reject them. But these three things are not like that. They never come to the back. They are already have come to some spiritual levels. Whenever we think them, our mind is so pure and calm and happy. If you have a very good friend who has a lot of qualities, when you think them, your mind is so pure and calm. That is why you take a picture of them and keep your table or somewhere that already you can see. When you think that person, when you see that person, you are happy. Why? They have good qualities, human values, noble qualities. That is why we always need to remember them. For that we keep some photos or pictures of them. When we practice the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, the triple gem, their photos are always where? In our mind, not in the outside world, on the tables. They are always in our memories, our mind, our hearts. Why? We always contemplate on their noble qualities. You always live with them, with these three things. The Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, then, we are always with friends. Sometimes we think that I have no friend. Nobody talk to me. Nobody speak with me. Sometimes we don't know how to make friends. We have no skills how to make friends. But here, if we come to Dhamma, and also if we practice Dhamma, always with the triple gem, the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, we have the best friend in this world. They are in high qualities always. These three things can be practiced as meditation techniques. Buddhanusati, the contemplation of the qualities of the Buddha. Dhammanusati, the contemplation of the Dhamma. And Sanghahanusati, the contemplation of the Sangha. Sangha is the supreme field of merits for the world. They are on the correct path. Supatipanna, Ujupatipanna, so on. And Ahuneya, Pahuneya, they are worthy of offerings and hospitality. Dakhineyo, Anjali Karaniyo, they are worthy of gifts and salutation. Anuttaram Punyakettan Lokasa, they are the supreme field of merits for the world. We associate these persons, the noble friendship, the noble Mahasangha. Even though we don't physically associate with them, mentally we are with them. We know they are good characters. When we remember their characters and qualities and their behaviors, they are in our hearts. It means we associate them. Whenever you think about someone, it means you are with them. Whenever you don't think about someone, you don't live with them. You don't associate with them. Actually, when you go to the highest understanding, whenever we think about someone, he or she lives in our hearts, in our life. Whenever we don't think someone, he or she is dead. Even though your friends have died, when you think about them, they are still living. Whenever you don't think someone, in your truly life, actually they are dead at that moment. Even the Buddha has passed away. Although some noble sanghas have passed away, whenever we think about them at that moment, they are in our lives, they are in our hearts, we are living with them. These three things should be contemplated on again and again for our inner peace, spiritual happiness. The other thing is, the fourth one is Chaganusati, the contemplation of generosity. As we mentioned earlier, after we offered something to someone, we think again and again, I am such a person who is always practicing generosity. My hands are already ready to offer something to someone. We contemplate on our generous hands, generous hearts. That is the place where we practice the contemplation of generosity or Chaganusati. That is also a meditation technique that helps us to purify our mind for our inner peace. And also the next one, Silanusati, the contemplation of our virtuous life. I am such a person who has good discipline in his speech and behavior. Especially, always I practice 5 precepts. We think about our virtuous life, discipline in our speech and behavior. That is also a place where we purify our mind as a meditation technique. The other one is Devatanusati, the contemplation of the qualities of the Devas or divine beings or Brahmas in the higher realm. They were born in those worlds because of their good qualities that they had practiced in the human world, such as Saddha, confidence, Sila, virtue, Tyaga, generosity, and Panya, wisdom. As the result of practicing these qualities in the human realm, now they are in the Brahma realms. We think about the qualities that they have already practiced and their luxurious lives we contemplate on. Here, I explain that why do we need to contemplate on those persons? I explained why the reason is. Not only it helps us to purify our mind, but whenever we contemplate on the qualities of the Devas or deities, divine beings, mentally we are ready to go to higher realms, divine realms or blissful lives as soon as we die, we pass away. As the result of practicing these virtues and qualities, whenever, wherever we die, without any doubt, we can be born in a peaceful life, in a blissful life. Whether you believe or not, your next birth, it doesn't matter, but you can come to a better peaceful life. Not only we will be happy in the future life, but in this immediate life we are happy. Day by day we are going on the path of happiness. Day by day our spiritual happiness increases while we are going to old age, sicknesses, reaching the death. That is a very important thing. The ordinary people, when they are so young and healthy, they are happy. Their face is very bright, very beautiful when they are very young and healthy. But what happens to them when they go to old age and sicknesses? Their face has no smile. Their face is no pleasant. But the very important thing, if we practice Dhamma, our happiness day by day increases. The very important thing here we should understand. I explained a very special thing, what the Buddha said. Sabbam paravasan dukkhang, sabbang issaryan sukham. If something depends on the outside world or persons or pets, that happiness will end with suffering. If there's something depends on the outside world, persons or things, that will end with suffering. Whether we like or not, whether we believe or not, that is the reality. And also, sabbang issaryan sukham. If something depends on insight within you, that will end with happiness. Therefore, again and again check the things that you are happy at this moment depend on outside or inside. If you depend on even your physical body, physical health, be sure your life will end with suffering. Why? This body is day by day going to old age. This body is day by day going to sicknesses. This body is day by day going to death. That is the reality. Having this kind of body, mentally we are cultivating our spiritual happiness by practicing Dhamma. This path, what we are explaining here, always ends with happiness. That happiness is a spiritual happiness. Here we explain the qualities that we can practice in the mundane level. Not only we listening to Dhamma, while we are listening to Dhamma, we are practicing Dhamma. That is the very important thing. While we are listening to Dhamma, we are practicing Dhamma. If you completely focus on your mind in this sermon, in this Dhamma, it means you are practicing Dhamma. When you are listening to the benefits of practicing generosity, you are practicing generosity at that moment. You think about the generosities that you have already practiced. When you are listening to your sila, at that moment you are thinking about your sila virtue. It means you are practicing Dhamma at that moment. When you are listening to that, Metta Bhavana is very important. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. At the moment you are practicing Metta Bhavana. May all beings be well, happy and peaceful. When you are listening to the qualities of the Buddha, you are contemplating on the qualities of the Buddha at that moment. You are practicing Buddhanusati. Whenever you are listening to the qualities of the Dhamma, you are contemplating on the qualities of the Dhamma. It means you are practicing Dhammanusati Bhavana. Whenever you are listening to the qualities of the Sangha, it means mentally you are contemplating on the qualities of the Sangha. You are with the Sangha, noble Sangha. At that moment your mind is so pure and calm. That is why Buddhism says listening to Dhamma is a place where we practice Dhamma. We usually think that when we listening to Dhamma, that is just listening. After listening sermon, when we close our eyes and meditating, then we practice Dhamma. Actually, that is not true. Even you listening to Dhamma mindfully and wisely, with comprehension, there also we practice Dhamma. There also we purify our minds. Okay, now we are going to practice some kind of meditation techniques as we practiced earlier, one by one. For a while, we are going to practice some meditation techniques from Chaganusati, contemplating on the generosity, to the practicing loving kindness meditation. Okay, dear friends in the Dhamma. Okay, relax your body, please. Okay, have a deep breath in. Hold a few seconds. Breathe out slowly. Again, please take a deep breath in. Hold a few seconds. Breathe out slowly. Please be aware of the body posture that you are sitting here. Being aware of the body posture is a meditation technique which belongs to Kayanupassana, the contemplation of body. Please keep your attention around the nose or upper lip in the present moment. At the same time, please contemplate on your body posture that you are sitting here. With this concentrated mind, now I am going to contemplate on generosity that I have already practiced and practicing. I am a generous person. I always practice generosity. At least when I eat something, I am ready to offer something to someone who is near me. I take care of my parents. I help innocent persons. I offer something to virtuous persons. My heart is always generous. I am not greedy. I am a so generous person. The more I generous, the more I am happier. I am contemplating on my generous life. You can think your activities that you have done as generosity. You may have offered blood to someone. You have offered some food to someone. You have saved some innocent beings. And you have offered some Dhamma books to someone for their Dhamma understanding. He who has a generous heart gains a lot of happiness. Therefore, always I try to maintain my generous heart, generous mind for my inner peace. Now I am going to end practicing Chaganusati or contemplation of generosity, but furthermore, I am mindful and I am aware of the present moment. I keep my attention around the nose of upper lip again. I am mindful in the present moment. At the same time, I am going to think about my virtuous life. I spend a virtuous life. I always practice 5 precepts. I have my discipline in my speech and behavior. When I do something, when I speak something, I think again and again whether it is correct. With good awareness, I always speak and work. I don't disturb any other person. I always respect others. I always protect others' rights. I live peaceful in this society with others. I am contemplating on my virtuous life. I am a good person. I am so happy when I think about my virtuous life. My mind is so pure and calm at this moment. I always try to maintain my virtuous life. Not doing disturbs others. I always continue my virtuous life. Having this idea and intention. Now I am going to end this Sila Anusati Bhavana, the meditation of the contemplation of Sila or virtue. However, furthermore, I am aware of the present moment. I am mindful in this present moment. I continuously maintain my mindfulness. Always I am aware of my body and mind. With this awareness in the present moment, now I am going to contemplate on the qualities of the Blessed One, the Supreme Buddha. The Buddha is the person who developed his mind to the maximum level with great compassion and wisdom. I imagine that Buddha's image or statue in front of me. The Buddha is sitting in front of me in the Samadhi posture. I am near the Buddha. I am in the shadow of the Buddha. I feel Buddha's noble qualities. Arahang, worthy. Samma Sambuddho, supremely enlightened. Vidyacharana Sampanno, endowed with knowledge and conduct. Sugato, well gone. Lokavidu, knower of the world. Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati, incomparable trainer of persons to be tamed. Sattha Deva Manussanam, the supreme teacher of deities and men. Buddho, enlightened. Bhagavan, exalted. Buddha's qualities are in my mind. The Buddha is like in my heart. I always live with the qualities of the Buddha. I always keep the Supreme Buddha's qualities in my heart. Wherever, whenever I think about the qualities of the Buddha, I am with the Buddha. I always try to contemplate on the qualities of the Blessed One for my inner peace, spiritual happiness. Now I am going to end practicing Buddhanussati, but furthermore I am mindful in the present moment. Next, I am going to practice Dhammanupassana, the contemplation of the Dhamma. Dhamma means the world reality, what the Supreme Buddha analyzed, discovered, and proclaimed to the world. Dhamma shows me the path to succeed my life, and it shows me the path to overcome suffering. Dhamma is my life. Dhamma is the nature of the world. Dhamma is the way how to purify my mind. Whenever I listen to and practice Dhamma, I purify my mind. I realize the world as it is. Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. Swakato. Visible result. Sanditiko. Immediately effective. Akaliko. Calling one to come and see. Ehipassiko. Leading onwards. Opanaiko. It should be personally realized by the wise. Paccatthang veditabbo vinyohi. These are the qualities of the Dhamma. Whenever I think about the qualities of the Dhamma, my mind is so pure and calm. My mind is so peaceful and quiet. The most valuable thing I have received in my life is that Dhamma, which is very rare in this world. As a result of my previous good karma, I have received this sublime message that directly helps me to attain the supreme happiness. Whenever I think about the Dhamma, I am with the Dhamma. When I am with the Dhamma, I am so rich, happy, and peaceful. Whenever I am with the Dhamma, nobody can disturb me. Nobody can bring me suffering. Practicing Dhamma is the real refuge in this world. It is the real assurance, insurance, protection, and emancipation. Dhamma is my best friend. Dhamma is my mother and father. Dhamma is my real refuge and protection. I am so happy whenever I think about Dhamma. I always try to live with the Dhamma, which is mindfulness and wisdom. My mind is so peaceful when I think the Dhamma that I practice. With this pure mind, I am going to end practicing Dhammanupassana, but furthermore, I am aware of my body and mind in the present moment. Now I am going to practice Sanghahanusati, the contemplation of the qualities of the Mahasangha, noble ones, enlightened persons. Sangha means Buddha's noble disciples, Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni, Upasaka, Upasika. They are practicing Dhamma. They have already come into the spiritual levels. Some of them have completely eradicated negative thoughts and have attained enlightenment. Some are eradicating their defilements. The community of the Mahasangha is practicing well, practicing properly, practicing correctly, practicing well. The community of the Mahasangha is worthy of offerings and hospitality. They are worthy of gifts and salutation. The Mahasangha is the supreme field of merits for the world. When I think of Mahasangha, I am so happy. I am with them. I don't feel loneliness when I am with the Mahasangha. They are my protection. They are my examples. They are my models. Arhat Sariputta, Arhat Moggallana, Arhat Kema, Arhat Uppalavanna, Patachara, Mahaprajapati, the noble ones, they all are near me. They all are taking care of me. They all advise me. I am with them. They are around me. They are the most virtuous persons in this world. They have no any mistake. They have no any misbehaviors. They have no any wrong conduct. They are superior persons in this world. They are very peaceful people. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi. Okay, dear friends in the Dhamma, I think you can feel the happiness when we practice Dhamma. Actually, Dhamma is alive. Whenever we practice Dhamma, Dhamma is within us. We can see the results of the Dhamma. We are so fortunate having this kind of valuable life and valuable sublime message explained by the Supreme Buddha. In this first session, we explain the path of happiness in the mundane level. In the next session, we are going to discuss and practice the second level of spirituality in the supramundane level. Dukkhaṃ pantāca niddukkhaṃ bhayaṃ pantāca nidbhayaṃ sokaṃ pantāca nissokaṃ hontu sabbe pipānino.